Hello, my name is Eddie Tofpik. I'm Head of Technical Analysis and Senior Markets Analyst at ADM Investor Services International Limited. As is usual at this time of year, I will stop looking at my daily charts and instead concentrate on the longer term view, using my monthly, even yearly charts to commentate on a market. If you would like to discuss any of these, I'll only too happy to hear from you. So let me now introduce today's longer term chart. Today I'll be looking longer term at LME 3-month aluminium. After the huge move higher from the low at the start of Q2 in 2020, right through to the high at the end of Q1 in 2022. After this big move higher and the subsequent fall in Q2 2022, down through the low in Q3 2022. After these big moves, well, in relation to those, the end of 23 and the whole of 2024 may have been relatively calm in recent times. This is only a short comparison because if you look at the action of 2023 compared to 2013, and a cursory glance will tell you that this has been an active year. Going back a bit now, the low in the first third of 2020 became hugely significant. It was where the market created a new 2015 to 2020 bullish Andrews pitchfork, highlighted in bright red on my monthly chart. One that still seems, despite being breached, to be running the market, at least for now. I will speak more on this shortly. Going now to the rally since the low in 2022, well, prices only managed to rise as far as the 50% Fibonacci line of the big 2008 to 2022 move at 26.75. Admittedly, the 1-year moving average, currently at 22.85, and the 2-year moving average, currently 24.69, were capping prices at the time as well. But the 50% Fibonacci line at 26.75 looked to be the main reason prices peaked in January last year. Now, as I said earlier, 2023 has been relatively quieter than 2020, 2021 and 2022, but has seen some new supports enter the frame, specifically the lower time, currently at 21.70, with a bright red bullish Andrews pitchfork, and more importantly the 5-year moving average, currently 22.16, highlighted in gold on my monthly chart. Neither of these are perfect supports, as both have been breached, and we have even had singular closes below the 5-year moving average on a number of occasions. However, they are still there, and they have curtailed to a greater degree the bearishness that could have seen prices drop down to the lows of 2020. The question is, what's next? Well, last year in my annual commentary I did point out the following, and I quote, "This has prompted two questions in my mind, one potentially bullish and one bearish. The first is whether I should draw a bullish Andrews, or maybe preferably a bullish shift pitchfork, for the 2020 to 22 action." End of quote. Now I'll interrupt at this point, as I've obviously done this, but to resume the quote. The second is whether the action since March, or some point between March and May last year, is a sort of a possible bear flag, or bearish halfway hesitation. This latter question is a huge one, as it could lead to prices down to the lows seen back in 2009, and thus is to be treated very, very delicately. Neither gives a hint at the truth right now, just some tantalizing possibilities. End of quote. The situation is not any clearer this year, as prices have neither recovered nor declined, not in comparative terms to the last few years. Thus the question is still open this year, 2024. Is this a bearish halfway hesitation, or even a double bottom, or even something else? Thank you for watching and listening. This annual broadcast gives the essential market patterns and consequences. Please be aware of the risk disclaimer posted both at the front and at the back of this broadcast. Copyright is Eddie Tofpik and ADM Investor Services International Limited. And here comes the final bit.